So this is something that I haven't thought that long about, but a little bit about just as another avenue of expression. So I used to write a lot and ended up making visual art, and then started only writing again with like being in a band in the context of writing lyrics and stuff for music purposes. I really missed writing. Recently, have started writing again in some capacity, a little different than what I've been doing in the past, but I've been enjoying that. Toy around with the idea of making a vlog, and I'm an artist in a lot of different ways, but the main thing that people know me for is visual art. Like I said, like writing and music, and there's a lot of other things that I do that I consider to be art, mostly visual art. And then things where I would like to have a conversation, I guess, about what ideas I've been thinking about are probably really art related because they're life related, and just life informs my art, and then it goes in a circle, right? So sometimes when I'm biking too, I just things pop into my head. I want to be able to talk about them, so I might do some of that while I'm biking, while I'm making art, or just talking like maybe like this. The biggest thing that this has to do with is legacy. Thus the title of this video. So I'm still playing a lot with ideas of what I want this channel to be, and just this content to be, and I'm still thinking about it. Things are going to get tweaked over time, etc. But legacy is the main thing. So I am really afraid of death. I don't like thinking about it at all. I'm scared of mortality. If I think about the fact that, oh, you know what, you die and that's it, that's all that happens, nothing else, that really scares me because I enjoy life in this form, and not having that would suck. And then if I think about eternal life, which some people believe in, I don't honestly know where my beliefs are at with that. That scares me too. That's really that's a huge concept that I don't really know how to process. Really, like, what does that mean? What would you do? How does that take form? So those two kind of unknowns. Well, I guess there's more unknown in the question of an eternity than like, oh, you just die, nothing happens. But I don't want to accept that because that's not this form. That's not this thing that I'm doing right now. So I don't like it and I don't want to think about it. But a part of me just is, yeah, I've had those feelings for a long time, and I think in the past couple of years it's really accelerated a lot. And especially this past, maybe since like summer, mortality's been on my mind more in the past like month or two. This question of legacy and like thinking about mortality a lot. It's been on my mind. Like when I'm biking and stuff, there's some of my writing that I've talked about that a little bit. I haven't shared yet, but I mean it's just kind of stream of consciousness thoughts almost, where basically when I'm biking, sometimes it's kind of like a dangerous area, like on a trail where it's like, oh, I'm just on the edge of a cliff, and like I could just fall off and snap my neck, or like break some bones, or get very seriously injured, or die, or whatever. And I feel so alive in these moments where I'm like, yeah, because I'm super close to death. I mean, that's a little maybe hyperbole, but I mean, it could easily happen with just, like I said, like twisting my neck the wrong way or whatever when I fall like a good length into some rocks and stuff. On the opposite end, I also just like have these really more calm, smooth parts of a trail. It's beautiful and scenic, and sometimes there's wildlife and deer and like birds chirping and rabbits in the bushes or whatever. And it's just like the sun might be just out, and it's just beautiful, lighting up the area. And in those moments too, there's no threat of death, and I just feel like so alive then too. So both of those things happen on a bike ride, and that's been getting me thinking about mortality and death and life and stuff as well in this interesting way. But this question of legacy that I've thought about for years is like, what do I want to leave behind? What is legacy? What does that mean to me? I think for me, it's really important, or I put a lot of importance on it for a couple of reasons, and maybe one is because I don't want children. That might change in the future. Like it's changed in the past where I was at a place where I thought like, oh, this is what you do. You just have kids. That's just a part of the cycle, and you do it. And then I realized I don't need kids. And if I don't need kids, why do I want kids? I guess I don't want kids. It hasn't changed back from that once I kind of got to that place where I told myself that's not really a thing I want because it's not a thing I need, to fulfill my life. So I think there's been this question there in the back of my mind for a long time, like, what do I leave behind? What is that? And so by creating art, part of my process is, I guess, connecting with just the need for connection, which that's an idea I think I would explore more in another video and talk about. I just really want to explore, I guess, this notion of legacy, and I'm doing that, and also trying to create one in a way. And it sounds really self-important and whatever else, and that's the reality, I guess, of what I'm feeling. So like, I don't like to have guilty pleasures, really. Like, if I like something, I want to just like it and that be it. The same thing for just anything that I feel or say. I don't want to have a part of me that feels guilty for saying it or feeling it. It's hard, but this notion of legacy, the self-importance and whatever, I want to be important. Like, that's what I want, and I'm not going to get that because I have a child who needs me to survive for the first however many years. Like, some people have that, and that's just maybe a way for them to feel important, and that's not the reason why I think people have children, but for some people I think it is, and I don't really have that. I'm not going to have that as part of my future plan. I think I get a lot out of teaching in the aspect of that I get to inspire ideas and pass down knowledge and that kind of thing very directly to students and have conversations with them, and like some that I'm able to guide through certain scenarios that are not even academic or school related. So I think I get some of that through the avenue of teaching. But also I just like struggle with this concept of dying and not being here anymore, and I don't know if it will make me feel any better or not. And I guess I'm doing it because there's so many reasons why I create and why I've created for a long time. And that's, again, this need for maybe connection, and part of it is just like this, where does this need for self-expression come from in all these different various forms, and I'm more recently in the past couple of years relating it to legacy and thinking that I really want to leave something behind. I don't want to be forgotten, because if it's inevitable that I die in this way, this mortal life that I know of right now, then can I leave things behind that will inspire others or make them think or remember me? And it's not going to be through a lineage that I have and DNA that carries on. That's not what's going to happen, most likely, with the way I feel and have been feeling like the past, 8-ish years, maybe, since I realized, I don't really need kids, and maybe that's been a little more recent than 8 years. It's just been solidified over the past maybe 5, 6, 7 years. So yeah, that's kind of what this is in a way too, is like a legacy project. I think it's very direct, and more accessible in a way. Like, you could own original art that I make, and then there's all these different things to what is it saying and how do you connect with it, but you don't necessarily connect with me. If you know me and you know what those pieces mean, or if it's a gift, or if it's something that, like, you and I could feel the exact same thing and you could connect with it because you're interpreting it the way that I meant it, or whatever. Even if you're not, I guess there would be a connection if you feel very strongly about that piece, but it may not have anything to do with you knowing me. That's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just a thing. And so same thing with like writing. I think you would have a more intimate look at maybe my thoughts directly, but this is just another step that's even more direct. It's just sharing, like, fun, but just sharing life. And to me, obviously, life is way more than just fun, and there's art and thoughts and processing these thoughts and having conversations and just, yeah, having to process things. I overanalyze things, I always have, and I do that a little less. I try to be in the moment a little more, which is interesting because now I'm recording those moments. I'm going to be aware that I'm recording those moments, so that does something, like, psychologically with how I would act in those moments, and I'm super aware of all this stuff. But I find it really interesting, and so I want to keep doing this for a bit and see what happens with this. I think of it as just like, hey, I'm just vlogging. It's a vlog, yay! But I also think of it as art, and a project, and I don't know how long that project will last. I have no idea what the interest is. I would like interaction and feedback. That's one thing that I find I miss sometimes. I definitely encourage you to engage, ask questions and make comments and that kind of thing. A lot of this is getting sparked by this idea of legacy, which I'll probably continue that theme soon because I'm still exploring it all the time. And I guess that is also another thing, that the word I use a lot is explore, and how this is exploring ideas for me, showing, yeah, fun times, showing rides, showing process of art, all that stuff. But I mean, everything is so process based, despite the fact that I'm very task oriented and like to complete things. Yeah, I'm trying to be more in the present and live in the now and whatever, and enjoy the process. And that's just, yeah, I think I've said too much and it's too late, and I don't know how to articulate all the things I'm thinking right now, and I'm just kind of babbling.